Hello, everyone. I'm Judith Simmer-Brown, Professor of Religious Studies with Wisdom Traditions Department, and delighted to make this offering for our alumni, many of whom I've probably had as students at one time or another in my many years at Naropa. So today I first wanted to introduce a little bit of what I'm going to be leading. This is a practice that comes from an image used by Thich Nhat Hanh in his book on anger. His book is entitled Anger, where he talks about how to begin to relate to the angry aspects of our experience. And so I developed this meditation many years ago and have used it occasionally in classes. It's a way to begin to relate to some of the more buried issues in our life, issues that make us angry or very emotional, and maybe it's even traumatic experiences, although it's best to start with something that's not too threatening. But it's a visualization practice, which I found incredibly helpful for working with those kind of loaded things that we carry around that we usually don't touch and we don't look into and develop. So we'll begin with a little bit of sitting, and then I'll ask you to follow along with me as I do a visualization practice. This whole thing will take a total of about 20, maybe 25 minutes. And so looking forward to whatever your response is to this. So let's begin with just a few minutes of mindfulness practice, sitting with good posture, being present with our breathing, settling ourselves in the present moment. As we begin to move into this practice, we visualize a place that is really comfortable and warm for us, a place we consider our own home, and a place that is really ours. It might be a favorite room, it might be a room from childhood, but a place where we can relax and feel fully supported in ourselves. Close your eyes for this part of the practice. This room that you're in has beautiful windows and curtains, furniture that is comfortable and beautiful and very much your own. Paintings and photographs hanging in frames on the walls that feel very much supportive of a peaceful and contented life. And you're there with friends hosting a casual but warm gathering. People who are close to you, people you enjoy being around. And it's a warm and convivial setting to be together. Perhaps there's food, nibblies or more. Perhaps there's music. But everyone is just relaxed and enjoying themselves, talking with each other, and you're the host. You feel the supportive presence of your friends. Feel relaxed, enjoying the gathering. Conversation and laughter. As time goes on, you're becoming aware that there are some things in your life that you're holding on to, things that are emotional and particularly anger, that are there sort of over on the side or down below. You're holding them at bay, in spite of the fact that you're in an enjoyable, convivial atmosphere. You become aware of these issues or this particular issue in your life that is unattended, unacknowledged. And as your awareness grows, you begin to feel that you're safe enough, comfortable enough, that perhaps you could pay attention to this buried issue in your life. And so you make a conscious decision to turn toward this buried issue. And if at any point in this guided visualization you feel like you've gone far enough, you can just stop, turn off this video. You don't have to continue. It's really important that you feel that you have the decision about whether you're going to go on and look or not. So please feel free to shut off the video at any time. As you decide you're going to look more deeply at what is being held and unacknowledged in your experience, you take a seat in the middle of your room. Could be on a cushion or chair, and resolve that you're going to take some time looking at this unacknowledged issue. And in that moment, you let go of all of the people who are in the room. Suddenly, they're gone. Just for a little bit, they're gone. The music stops. The food is gone. And you find yourself alone in your comfortable home. And then you let go of all of the accoutrements of the room. Let go of the paintings and photos on the wall. Just let them go, and the walls are just plain walls. The curtains at the windows, they just go. The furniture, the beautiful, comfortable furniture in the room, it just goes. And you find yourself sitting alone in this comfortable home that's open, simple, unadorned. It's your choice. You've decided to simplify and just to sit in the simplicity of the space of your room. Just spend a little time sitting there, feeling supported by the environment, but supported by the simplicity and unadorned nature of the environment. Find yourself practicing mindfulness, being present in this moment, in the safety and security of your room, but with a growing willingness to relate to some kind of unacknowledged issue in your life. It's like you're suddenly on retreat. And when you're ready, you know what to do. You rise and you realize there's a basement under this room that you're sitting so comfortably in. And you find yourself wanting to go down into the basement. Find the basement door and go down the basement stairs. Visualize what those are like. Could be a dusty, cobwebby basement. It could be a very clean, organized basement. Could be any kind of basement. But as you go down the basement stairs, at the bottom of the stairs is a set of shelves. And on the shelves are jars, ceramic jars, glass jars, beautiful, distinctive jars that represent the unacknowledged issues of your life, things that are put there for a time that you might want to relate with them. Visualize what these jars look like. They might be like cookie jars or urns of various kinds. They're jars with lids on top. And you know what's in those jars. Today, perhaps pick a smaller jar, something that represents some smaller issue of your experience that is generally unacknowledged, something you're angry about, something you're hurt about, something that bothers you around the edges of your mind. Perhaps insecurities, some kind of painful emotion. And you know what's in the jars. So select one. And as you begin to lift it off of the shelf slowly, notice the design on the outside of the jar, the glaze if it's a pottery jar, or the colored glass if it's a glass jar. Feel the weight and resolve that you're going to investigate this one today. And then prepare to ascend the stairs back to your room, carrying the jar carefully in your arms. Up the stairs, a sense of perhaps some dread, some anxiety, some excitement about having a chance to really explore what's going on for you, being held in the jar. You go back into your room and sit back on your cushion or chair, placing the jar on the floor in front of you. And just sit for a moment, regarding the jar. Tuning into the feeling of consciously looking into the contents of the jar. And appreciating the shape and weight, decoration, pottery, glaze, color of the glass. When you're ready, you lean forward and remove the lid of the jar. Place it gently on the ground beside the jar and sit back on your seat. And what we're going to do is to listen deeply to what comes out of this jar. Attend deeply to the images that come out of the jar. Being present, curious, nervous, but supported by the safety and security of our room and by our intention to know ourselves more deeply and to heal ourselves more deeply. We attend to this jar. Once the lid is removed, there may be voices speaking to us. We listen to these voices. We do not respond, we just listen, listening deeply for what the voices are telling us. There may be images that come from the jar. We attend to the images, observing them closely, ready to receive the messages that they're bringing to us. We feel a quality of kindness and gentleness toward our own experience as we attend to the jar. And as we take this attitude of curiosity and kindness, we notice how the voices may shift, or the images may shift. What may have started as angry or harsh may shift to sadness or pain. Let whatever the voices and images have to offer us, let them be there. bringing our attentive presence to them, letting them speak. And we'll just spend a little time with these images coming, the voices coming, and just attending. Remember, we're not speaking back, we're not doing anything, we're just bringing attentive, gentle, and kind presence to the jar and its contents. Letting our own response reverberate through our bodies and minds and our emotions, holding space for all of it, feeling what we feel. We'll spend a few more minutes listening, seeing, attending. Continuing with kind, attentive presence. Then as we bring this session to a close, and if you would like it to continue, you could turn off the video and just have it continue a little bit, and then turn it back on and rejoin us. But as we bring this session to a close, we very simply bow to our experience, acknowledging we've seen and we've heard, we've been present so that we know what's in this jar. We recognize it, and so we bow to it. If we do this practice repeatedly, gradually we develop the ability to gently hold the jar and its contents in our embrace, like a small child that needs care and our attention. But for today, we just bow. Out of respect, out of relief at really being there for this unacknowledged aspect of our experience. And then we gently put the lid back on the jar. That allows it to go back to its place. We sit for a moment with the jar, with the lid on, returning for a few moments to mindfulness. Just being present with the experience that we've just had, relating to the normally unacknowledged aspects of our lives. Feeling the tenderness and vulnerability of opening to the unacknowledged. And then when we're ready, we stand from our cushion or chair and gently but firmly pick up the jar in our arms. It may be small, it may be larger. And we slowly, with decisiveness, walk back to the basement door, back down the basement steps, and gently and firmly put the jar back on the shelf in the basement with the other jars. Recognizing that that jar is there for us to bring out again when we're ready to pay attention to the contents, to the voices, to the images, and to the emotions and responses they elicit in us. There's a sense of respect and appreciation of these jars on the shelves in the basement. And then when we're ready, we come back up the stairs, take our seat again in our room on a cushion or chair. And as we gently breathe mindfully in this moment, we summon back all of the accoutrements of the room. We summon back the furniture and rugs that make our room so beautiful and comfortable and so much ours. We summon back the paintings and photographs on our walls. We summon back our friends and the delightful exchange and just being together, the music, the food, the curtains at the windows, the joyful and convivial atmosphere. We find ourselves there, and we're able to be there this time, not distracted by what's hiding unacknowledged in our basement. We feel we can be with what we've just learned, exposed ourselves to in ourselves, to be with our friends and family members in our home, in a joyful, celebratory, casual occasion. We appreciate the warmth and support that this environment brings. And then when we're ready, we can open our eyes, return to just a few minutes of mindfulness practice, acknowledging the practice we've just done, the visualization, and connecting with our unacknowledged material. We just tune back in for a few minutes of quiet mindfulness. Thank you all. Appreciate your joining me for this. Again, this practice comes from one of the later chapters of Thich Nhat Hanh's book called Anger, where he suggests we can relate to these unacknowledged things that we harbor from the place of safety and deliberate attention and kindness and open listening and presence. So I hope this has been helpful to you and perhaps interesting. I find it's very helpful for me when I've got some sort of stuff stashed in my basement that I haven't looked at in a while. And I find that over time, my relationship to those jars on my shelves has changed and more part of my everyday life. So feel free to do this more than once, and you can develop your own details of the visualization as you find a safe and present, gentle way of relating to the unacknowledged in your experience. And I hope this brings back memories of being at Naropa and that you will come and visit us sometime. This is a very special community, and I know it's been a very special part of your lives in your education. I wish you well, and I hope to see you sometime soon. Thank you. And let's close with a bow. Bye-bye.